Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. You found your way to the Sacred Wisdom Circle. Here we remember what the world has asked us to forget. Not, oh, is that right?
Try again.
Yep. Rewind. I'll edit that out. Is that the right intro?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Let me pause.
Mhm.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. You found your way to the Sacred Wisdom Circle. Here we remember what the world has asked us to forget, that you are not lost, that you are not broken, and that you are the light.
Yes, you are. Mm.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. From a cold Johannesburg. So, hi, everyone.
Well, it's very warm here. We're finally, I think summer has arrived. It's August 1st.
We've had a few heat waves on this side of the country.
Yes, you guys have. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be in all these different areas, but well, there's been a lot going on with the world in
Hmm.
the last week. Lots of shimmy and shaking.
What are you feeling? What's going on?
Well, I was referring to the earthquake and
Oh,
in
yeah.
Russia and yeah, and the awakening along the Pacific Rim is very interesting to be observing, and certainly hope everyone is not experiencing too much trauma in their area, but it is definitely the earth is speaking to us, isn't she?
Hmm.
Sure. So interesting because I'm going to be in San Francisco on Monday.
That's so
Um,
exciting.
I'm very excited, but also just so interesting to see that energy, how that energy is actually collecting around that whole area. I mean, it's not just Russia. It impacts on Japan. It's had an impact on the west coast of the United States and the South America as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting that those energies are kind of convoluting around that area. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
So,
Hawaii too. Okay, so what
yep.
are you guys feeling this week?
For me, I'm really starting to feel the connection. I know it's a little bit, a few days off still, but I'm starting to really feel the connection to Lionsgate, which the pinnacle of Lionsgate is on the 8th, which is next week. And in fact, it's next week, Friday. And I'm
Yes.
not with you guys, because I'm going to be on a conference in San Francisco. So, yeah, I'm certainly starting to feel that energy of the Lionsgate coming in and that connection. I love the dog star. I love Sirius, and Sirius's energy. So that's something that's been coming up for me a little bit this week.
I think
Probably
it's
because
good.
I'm writing a meditation on Lionsgate that I'm connecting to it early.
Ooh, I love that. I would, if you could just share your insight on, because I'm not super into astrology, for those that are like, because you mentioned the Lionsgate and a few other things, if you could just kind of quickly touch on that, what that
So
means.
Lionsgate connects us to Sirius, which is the dog star, and Sirius is in Orion's belt. And on the 8th, so it starts to open around about the 25th of July, and it reaches the pinnacle energy on the 8th, where Sirius is in alignment with the pyramids of Giza. And it also brought in the floods when the Nile used to rise and almost flood. But the symbolism of the Nile rising and flooding was a symbolism of abundance and of prosperity, and the waters of the Nile rising would see to the growth of crops. And so it's become part of Egyptian cosmology around this time of the year. And it, in fact, heralds the beginning of the Egyptian New Year. Um, so we're connecting with the energy of Sirius, which is known as the celestial sun. So we have our sun in our galaxy, and then Sirius being the celestial sun. So very powerful portal that opens, and of course it's in the Leo energy, which brings about leadership as well. So yeah, new beginnings with the Egyptian calendar, and also just this incredibly powerful energy that comes through to the planet at this time. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you. And the dog star?
It's known, well, the Native American Indians call it the dog star. And often you'll see Sirius as the celestial sun in when it's during the daytime. You can actually sometimes see it when the sun reflects a complete round circle around the sun, which is the connection of our sun to Sirius.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Very cool.
Mm. So energy of renewal and some bringing in some amazing, like you said, manifestation of things, and it sounds like good energy.
Mm.
Very nice.
Actively fast moving energy.
Very much so, because it's Leo and it's fire energy. So
Mm.
bringing in that as well. So yeah, very exciting stuff.
Yes.
Hmm.
I
Good
feel like
time to reconnect to what you're consciously creating, right?
consciously creating, and what I was feeling too from that is like what lights you up, what makes you passionate, like really connect to that, right? Bring that
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
Yeah, and hopefully they're one and the same, right? Yeah. Do you have an event planned for that, Angela, or just you're
I'm
doing
going to be,
meditation?
yeah, I'm going to be in San Francisco, and I have been asked to put on a meditation for a group of women, but I'm also going to be recording it. It'll be up on my podcast, and I will send it to you guys as well. So if you want to use it next week, you can do so too.
Yeah, and like send us the link and we'll put it in the show notes as well.
Then I'll be with you in spirit instead of being with you physically next week.
That's a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a teepee event planned for that evening for the Lions Gate. And also, it's a full moon the next day. So it's a big energy. So it's a good time to actually sit and keep yourself in alignment, like through meditation, right? Because there'll be
I
a lot of energies moving around.
I think I saw that next week's full moon is a blood moon.
Oh, I haven't looked yet. So,
I also have
Um,
something going on next week, and I was just called to do it that week, like because we had some things going on. And Saturday, I have like a virtual session I'm hosting for people. So it's so interesting that it all just kind of aligns.
yeah.
Yeah, like Friday to Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, I didn't even realize. And I
Yeah.
planned it on that day. That happens so often, right? That's very cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
um,
Oh, so I had a card drop out of the deck here this morning for us, actually, two of them. Um, and so I love when I'm pulling cards, I love the Angels and Ancestors card whoop, by Kyle Gray. Or
Mm.
deck, I should say. And just to let you guys kind of reflect on this, which is kind of cool. The Direction Guardian Choose Your Path came out for us. And I'm trying to get it so you can see it. But there's
Lion.
a lion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right there. And it's the four directions and you choose like which way are you going? And then the other card that was right behind it as it popped out was Dream and Journey. It's
Ah.
the drum card, the Dream and Journey. So
Wow.
And both about being on the path and the journey and then where you're going. And again, that focus to the energy of what you're passionate about or what draws you forward.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
And also, it's important to be focusing on these energies at this time in terms of what is it that you're wanting to create and manifest with all these planets that are in retrograde. It's the ideal time to be doing the inner work of what it is that you're wanting to manifest externally in the creation of not only who you are, but what it is that you want to be creating and manifesting into your life. And this is a really good time, particularly being a 9-year. And we're starting to draw, I mean, we're still kind of going into the second half of the year, 9 being the number of completion, and 2026 becoming the year of new beginnings with the 10. It's not just a 1. We forget about the 10. We reduce 10 down to 1 being new beginnings, but there's also the energy of the divine masculine, and I mean, the sacred masculine and the divine feminine with the 1 and the 0. So whatever it is that you are wanting to truly bring to completion and to an ending in 2025, these next 5 months are the months that it's really a good time to do that and to start looking at what it is that you're wanting to seed as the balanced energies of 2026. And although we're only in the beginning of August, it's because there's so much going on with the energies around us at the moment. It's a really, really good time to bring into consciousness that which you want to complete.
And you had mentioned too about like the bringing in these energies and who you're being, but what you want to bring in. But I feel like those are very much intertwined, being who you are meant to be and who you truly are. And that's what aligns with your goal, your manifestation, what you're bringing in. It's in a true alignment of that.
It's the external manifestation of what's happening internally. We've been schooled to be so much in the external in terms of what's going on around us and all the external world without really doing a lot of, well, people on the path are doing a lot of the inner work, but our typical programming has been to focus on all of the externals. And the energy is reversing itself. It's going, what is it that you're wanting to manifest in the external world is a direct product of the work that you've done internally. So yeah, interesting times. Hello, Pamela, in your new spot in Costa Rica.
It's actually the Dominican.
Oh, is it the Dominican?
Okay.
Sorry, I have the wrong part of the planet. But yeah, it's still in your new space.
That's okay.
How does that feel? Can you hear us?
Oh, it's amazing. It's been a whirlwind, but it is amazing. Like we're almost all set up, couch, and we're just doing, the little incidentals and working out all the kinks. But all of our furniture is in, and yeah, it's been incredible.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
how exciting. So exciting
I will
for you
actually-
too.
Oh, exactly. And I'm going to have a few days to be able to relax before I come back home.
As long as you get to enjoy it.
So absolutely. Absolutely. So hopefully there's not too much of a lag being here, but I just wanted to pop in. Even if it gets too bad, I'll leave, you lovely ladies, but I wanted to at least pop in and say hello and see how I could contribute.
Of course. What's going on for you? Other than your move, outside of that, how's the energies and things in your space?
You know what? Wonderful, actually. I mean, I've been extremely tired, but I mean, I've had the energy to do what I'm doing, right? And it's very, very hot here. So my energy has been good, sleeping better, which has not been the norm for me. Normally I'm feeling all the chaotic energy and tossing and turning. So there's lots of change happening though. I'm feeling it and sensing it, not just with me, but just in general. Big shifts, not little shifts either, really big shifts for people.
We had talked about just before you got on about the earthquake and everything that's going on there. So like things are being shaken up, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Big
It's
shift.
the only way we grow.
Yeah. Yep.
I was going to say, Angela, it looks like
So
you're
how is
pondering
everyone
something.
else doing?
Sorry, what was that, Alana?
It looks like you're pondering something to contribute.
Yeah, it's just that I think now more than ever for me, it really is bringing home to us all just how important the inner work is, and just how we never know what kind of impact we're going to be having on anybody. And I think we've raised that kind of comment before in one of these dialogues, but it just is so humbling because we never know what engagement, what interaction, what piece of content, what anything is that we're putting out into the world when it comes from our truth, what impact that's going to have on anybody else. And I'm just reminded so often just as we're going through all of these energies, just with so much humility, the grace that we are given to step into this space and to hold the light and to be the lighthouse. That is, just looking at the lighthouse in our logo, and just how fortunate we are, not only in terms of our own selves, but also as a collective, as we come together, the four of us come together. Okay, yeah, maybe not every week that it's always the four of us, but just the fact that even energetically, whilst it might not be all four of us together, we're still holding that space. And it just, for me, I'm just reminded today that one of the greatest gifts that we have is the gift of humility. That was what I bring.
Yeah, that's so good.
And I really agree with you, Angela. Being in a country where there's a language barrier for myself, definitely Spanish is going to have to be a second language. But that whole element of connecting with people and getting support has been really, really amazing. And you're right, how your energy shows up is really, really incredible and can make such a difference. Humility, patience. I'm being, I think, taught that on a whole new level. Meeting people who've been so supportive, like we wouldn't be so far along if it wasn't for some of the wonderful people that we have met here. So it just speaks volumes to that humility and being kind and not getting frustrated, right? Like I've had a couple of moments, I will be honest, I'm human, but it's that whole element of really being able to bring yourself back into that loving space and going, okay, everybody's doing their best. So it's been incredible.
Sorry, I missed some of that. My internet dropped me. Fridays must be a busy internet day.
Busy energetically.
Yeah, I never have trouble with my Zooms, but on here I tend to get dropped a lot. So must be the day. Who knows? But yeah.
What about you, Janice? What's been
It's
going
our
on?
powerful energy together.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
there.
Let's see. What's going on? Okay, well, we have company here for the week, so that always, is a different adjustment, different structure to your day, and especially when you work from home. So, but it's been good. My husband's brother is visiting and my nephew, so that is wonderful to have family here. And he's never been out west here. He's from Ontario, so he's never been out west, and so that's always fun. We had the teepee gathering last night for a medicine woman gathering where we just gathered and were honoring Mother Earth through creative activities. So we were actually making prayer sticks and prayer like intention sticks, whatever what resonated for people, whatever they wanted. So we got really creative. And man, when you get a group of women together, they bring their stuff. We had so much crafting material there. It was so fun to see what everybody brought, crystals and beads and paints and feathers and driftwood. It's been very good. I love driftwood art. So it's a lot of fun. So it was just really a nice evening of gathering, being together and, remembering. And that's the whole thing, was the remembering of what we're doing and why we're here, and remembering the reverence when you talk about humility, right? The humility of walking with power. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm exhausted from having company and getting back in after being away. Most of July I was all over the place. So I'm feeling kind of like, okay, I just need time to sit and go within me and do some journaling and do some soul searching and, Yesterday I was sitting there going, okay, universe, what are some good journal prompts for me? Because journaling really brings me in. I'll meditate and then journal. It really brings me into my energy and shifting and tweaking it. So if anyone's got some good journal prompts, like let's throw them out there.
I'll give you one, which actually showed up for me today when I was doing some oracle card pulling this morning. If you trusted your path, what would you do?
Mhm.
But I love that. I feel that like busyness. That was my June. My entire June was super busy, and my July was the reflecting and the sitting in and um the really paying attention and tapping in and tuning in and realigning of myself. And in that, there's been so much unfolding that's come from that, from journaling, from doing the taking the time. I feel like this is a lot of the time we get consumed with what is going on in our life and overconsumed. And it just, again, it's even that trusting in that statement. It's like, literally, it's like, what if we trusted more? And that's what I've been stepping into the entire month of July. So I appreciate where you are, and that tapping in is super, super powerful. I can say from the other side of it. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I love that. Looking
so
forward to August.
Trusting,
Sorry.
that's okay. Trusting is showing up big time for me as well. When it
Mhm.
comes to even, it sounds as silly as decorating this condo, like the bed that I originally ordered. It was like it wasn't going to be ready. We came across another bed and a couple of nightstands that would have worked much better. It did work much better. The one that I originally wanted had a headboard that was too big, or would have interfered with the window.
Mm.
So we changed that, and I was like, "Are you disappointed?" No. Well, there's a reason this is happening, and sure enough, the last couch that we look at is absolutely perfect. And we travel around to different stores. I didn't lose faith, didn't lose hope. Um, I got quality stuff. That was one of the big things for me. I wanted quality so it would last. If we're going to be doing anything in the way of Airbnb it or sharing with family or friends, right? It's that element. You want it to last. You don't want it to be something that's just can be destroyed. So, I mean, we have found everything perfect. It's just really been incredible. And it's been trusting in that process.
Yeah. I love that. That trust has been up for me all summer, like leaning into trust every day and noticing when I slip out of it and just coming back to it and not being like it's not a complete surrender of okay, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to trust everything
Like,
unfolds.
no.
Yeah, it's the okay, I'm trusting, I'm leaning into it and what inspired action, right? Of
Yeah.
course. But
And
it's
that trusting in my gut.
yeah.
Like, my partner, when we were looking at one of the places that was a more expensive, the quality was less. And I said, nope, not, you know what I mean? And then this last one, I just couldn't believe like how freaking perfect it was. So
what? Without digressing, and on just your adventure that you're having and the manifestation of what's occurring is incredible. I just want to circle back to something that Alana was saying about her July being so quiet and reflective. You're probably connecting a lot with the energy of Cancer and the crab going inside its shell. And the water energies and all of those things that bring you to a point of that inner reflection and inner connection. So yeah, very interesting in terms of the way in which the more we align with the energies and the more we align with the cycles of the energies, the more we are in flow with what's going on around us. And so we go from water energy with Cancer into fire energy with Leo.
Mm.
And then September will be earth and grounding. So whatever it is that you want to be passionate about and create and bring into the world in August, the next thing is to make sure that it grounds in September and that it's got roots and it anchors. So yeah, working with the flow of these energies. And Pam, sounds like with you being in the heat of where you are and everything unfolding the way that it is, the fire energy is really, really working for you.
Yeah, that makes sense for me too. Oh, we lost her. Because I don't feel like I feel like I need to ground and center, but in my work. Like I'm feeling like I want to move forward in my work. I've had enough time of rest and play. It's been a lot of fun. But now I'm like, okay, I just want to get back into my work and move forward in that. So that would be more of the fire energy too. So I love that.
One thing that's
You're
like
welcome.
standing out in like in general as we have this conversation for me, I even earlier this week I have this note sitting in front of me because it's a message that came through earlier, and it was like, you know, when we try to manifest or we try to create something from our ego, and we try and we're like, even if it's a material thing, so somebody that's listening, even if you're trying to manifest something that's like, I want this specific car or this specific whatever, and we're manifesting it from our ego
It's
and
not
it
so much
doesn't
the
show
letting
up,
go
and then we
as
get
it's the
disappointed because it
completing it.
doesn't show up.
Yeah,
And
because
it's kind of
again,
like
the
everybody, each one of us in
9 year,
our completion
and
of
the
things
9 year is the
and what
year
we're doing in
of
the cycles is that
completing.
sometimes we
And
we
in
try
the
to figure things out or
completion,
try to
we do
manage
let go,
things
but it's really
from one
what do I want
aspect,
to
and
bring
then
to
when it
the
doesn't quite work
a
out,
point where
we get
it's
caught up
done.
in the frustration
It's
of
done.
what I'm doing
And
is it, or what I'm
actually
trying to
move on.
bring into the world, like I said,
And
manifesting like a
so
car or
that's really
whatever. We
working.
tend to
And 9
get
is also
frustrated
linking
because
to
it's not
mastery,
coming
or what is
through.
it that you're
But
wanting
the
to
message
master
is
through the
not so
year
much
as
about
well.
the ego, is
So
that if you're trying to bring something
it
in
really
from the
is
ego
working
aspect and
with,
it's
I
not
love the
showing up, it's
energy
because
when
it's
we
coming from
have
the
these
ego.
conversations
And
around
when we
working with
let go
energies,
or
whether it's
release
the
or
numerology, whether it's
let
the
that be
astrological
done,
energies, whether it's any of
and choose,
these,
and
the
this is what I feel like
seasons,
I've
the
had this shift
cycles,
for, is like
it's
instead of
all
coming
around
from
being in
and not that I
alignment
was
and being
overly
in flow and
egotistical
learning
about
to
what I was
become our
doing, but
own
it was just
alchemists. Because when
without
we're
being in
working with these
control of
energies,
it,
air, earth,
and
water, fire,
truly, like we
spirit,
talked about
we're
earlier,
working
about
with the
truly
energies of alchemy.
trusting
And that's
what is
the inner
showing up for me, what I'm
transformation
supposed to
that we
do. And
then
it's
take
like
out
when
into the
you're
world.
aligned with your soul
That's
intentions,
interesting.
like
Yeah.
things that
So
feel
when
good,
I think about,
and those are
the
the things that
shifts and
come
changes
in,
that are
those are the
happening for
things that
me,
manifest. And
I
instead of
work a
being
lot
control
with
of the
groups.
thing
I've always
itself,
done
when
a
we
lot of
just come
group
from that energy of
Zooms and
what feels good
small
for me
groups,
and
but groups,
being in
and I
that
love
feeling
them
good
and I still
space, the
love them.
manifestation
But I'm
comes through
feeling a
in the way it's
passion
supposed to,
rising
not in the
for
way we think it should
one-on-one,
come.
and
Right? So that's a
just being
message that
able
came
to
through for me earlier,
walk with
was like,
someone
oh,
and
no wonder
really
people get
help them
frustrated with the
move and
material things that they're
transform
not bringing in because they're bringing it
into
in
the
from
life
the,
that
they
they
are
are
unaware,
loving. And so
but it's you're bringing it in from
that's
the ego
growing right now
perspective
as
and
my
what we think we
one-on-one
want and
clients
we
are
desire.
starting
There's
to
a desire
grow
there,
in,
but it's not
and
a
more of them
desire for
coming
that
in.
thing
So
specifically. It's the feeling that that
that's a
desire
beautiful
creates
shift
within you,
too
and you got to
that's
let
happening in my life.
whatever
So
the
that would
universe
be
gives you from that.
part
That's the
of that
gift.
transformation. Yeah. Like, very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Totally.
also,
And
what are our
it is
sacred,
very,
sorry, Pam, just saying, well, what are our
you know,
sacred nodes? It's not only what are we doing, but what are we also saying no
It's
to that
like
no longer
those
aligns with
desires,
who we
those
are
soul
and where we're
intentions
at
is
as
what I
well. I
called it
mean, it's
earlier, mentioned
just as
earlier, was
important,
like, are the
the
things that we
no's, as it
come
is
to
around
this
what it
world
is that we're
with.
connecting with and engaging
And so
with.
when we're coming from it from
Sorry,
that
Pam, over
perspective
to
of
you.
That's a
we
good journal
already come
prompt.
here with an agreement of these are the soul intentions or these are the
speak,
true desires that we
speaking
want to
about
bring
the
in, those are
alignment,
easy to come in.
you
But
know,
when we
I
try to
had my
control it, like you said, of
second
like, I want it
sacred
to be this
circle of
specific
being
number.
in
Yeah, it's
July
what
before coming here. And it went from 3 people to 11 people.
hmm?
Like it was just like, and it was magical. And people didn't, we got done at 9, quarter after 9. People didn't leave till 10 o'clock. It was freaking awesome. And people were sharing such personal things, like perfect strangers. And I mean this sincerely. It was such a gift to watch and to be participating with. And one of the things with the circle is it's giving them prompts, everybody answering 2 questions to share their perspectives on it.
Yeah.
and then a reflection or a meditation. It was just really incredible. This place here, I know that I want to move into the retreats. I've done one-on-one for a number of years now. Love it. Love seeing people, and how they grow. Now, how switching it to the group work for me, because that's where I started many years ago on my journey, was group work. So now bringing groups in and being able to incorporate 10-day re-meets next year, for starting maybe with 4 or 5 people and building from there. But it's that element of having a transformative 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my passion is, and being able to utilize my own space in that way. It's been a whirlwind, but it hasn't been difficult, if that makes any sense. Like everything has come together, as far as even down to coloring. Like what my intention and set is with the rebranding that I'm doing, the colors are going along with my rebranding. And everything just magically is aligning. So it is that element of, I see the completion of what I've done one-on-one, and now stepping in next year into the next phase for myself. I can see it. And I've got goosebumps now, truth bumps. I can see it very clearly. And I'm still like, I have to pinch myself because it has been that easy.
I think a
It's
really
so
key
interesting
word
that
you
you
said
said.
there was
I'm taking something
expectation.
from what
Because even
you've
going
just
back
said.
to Janice, and I was thinking that thought was coming
My
in, Pam, when you were
completion
sharing
this
about being of
year
service.
is the
From my
completion
own
of
personal
me being
perspective,
on my
it's
own,
felt like,
doing,
oh, well, I
and I'm
am being
saying
of service. I'm giving,
working
I'm
on
giving,
my
I'm
own,
giving. But then there's still an
and
expectation of
kind of being,
exchange. And
I
it's
wouldn't say
letting go of that
isolated, because it's been
expectation of what if
quite
I
a few
just
years
truly
of
gave to help uplift this
doing
person without
the best way I can
attachment to
describe
the
it is the
outcome
hermit
of,
card in
without
the
attachment
tarot,
of, well, I'm going to get paid
needing
for
to
it in the
be in that
return,
space.
or money's going to come from
Now
something
what's
else
actually
because I'm
going
doing
on is
this.
that the energy is
That's
starting to
still being
shift, and
attached and
oh,
expecting
you
something to
guys are
come from it,
living proof of this.
right?
The
So you're
fact
not
that
truly being of service.
we've started this of getting out into the world again, and so yeah, really interesting that, Pam, that you've, with what you shared, that is my completion. My completion is to complete being on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that it's not alone, but on my own. And so, okay, so I'm gonna journal on that. I'm gonna take that away with me. And write about what that completion means, and what this journey, it's been really nearly a 9-year cycle, what that cycle is actually manifested, and what it's brought through, and what it's allowed me to release as well. It's been quite profound. So thank you for sharing that with me, because it just triggered that for me too.
I work with a lot of women that have their own business, and they really get into the, the money part, like the specific amount and why, and I always say, well, let's talk about lifestyle rather than money. It's not about the number, because the number it activates a lot of stuff inside of us. So if we can let that go and just feel into the lifestyle that you want to create,
It's the feeling of the
then it will come
experience,
much quicker
I think, is a
for
big
you,
piece of it too. Is
because it's
just,
coming from your heart
what does it feel
desires then,
like
rather
to be
than
full of love,
so much
and that you're
attached to
giving
the
from
ego
the
saying, oh,
overflow
I
of
make
it,
this much money per year,
versus
or
giving and giving
No.
and giving, and then, like you said, Janice, ending up in burnout? Because I think we've all experienced that at some point, especially being in this field of giving and giving, and then having that feeling of what I can't give anymore. So when you're giving from that, exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And my philosophy also with that is being of service. No matter what you're doing, being of service, then the money follows. And I have had that philosophy forever. It's that element of every one of us here. And no matter what your role is, if you're of service and you're being kind to people, right, in that role, and being for humanity, like humanity gets lost in so many different places. And it's like, if you can be in that humanness and be in that humanity and being of service to one another and respectful and loving or caring, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's going to come along. But that's truly being heart-centered, right? And less judgmental, and again, out of the ego. So if people could learn to just be of service and see their own value in what they're doing in serving humanity.
And there's a really important part right there, what you said. See your own value, because a lot of people are in service, but they do not have the receiving part open, because a lot of people will go, but I am in service to the world, but the money's not coming. I don't understand what's going on. And it has to do with that. Well, you have to really acknowledge
And we
the
come from the
value that
space
you're
of being,
giving,
well,
and
that's
love.
selfish.
Like, it's just
But
self-love.
it's
It's
okay
bringing
to
in
be
more love.
selfish.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
at the detriment of
It's also
others.
attachment.
It's just
The
coming from
more
a
we're
space of,
attached
I'm
to
allowed to
something, the more
ask. I'm
we're
allowed
used
to
to
have
this.
what's fair, or well, not
When we
what's fair,
focus
what
on
I am, of what's
the Buddhist
mine. You know
teachings
what I
of
mean? And have that
non-attachment,
ownership
then
of,
we
not
can't.
ownership.
It's like this: you can't receive if your hands are clenched in fists. You can only receive if you open your hand. So we're walking around attached to things. We're walking around with closed fists in terms of expectation, the way that we want it to happen, the way we think it should be happening, when it should be happening. And all that control is just attachment, and it stops flow. So firstly, have a look at what you're doing with your hands, because if you're doing this and you're holding on too tight, nothing's going to be flowing into your space at all. It's such
Absolutely. And expectations is something we were raised with, right? So it's a construct that we have to break down or break away from, right?
There's such a subtle nuance and such a paradox in terms of what we're saying as well, because on the ego level, we're attached in terms of expectation. On the spiritual level, there's the law of receiving, which Janice was alluding to just now.
Yes.
This opening up to the law of receiving is not about expectation. It's about understanding the natural law and flow of giving and receiving. And it's that energy. And women have been socialized to give and to give and give and give and give without really being able to express their own needs, without being able to move into that energy of opening to receive, because a lot of them also don't feel worthy, which comes back to what Janice was saying about value. Because if I don't feel worthy, I'm not going to place value on myself. Therefore, I'm not open to receiving. And so we get caught in that quagmire that just goes around and around and around and around until we break that cycle of letting go of expectation of the way we think that the world should be and opening up to, and it takes the courage to open heart, to actually open our hearts to be able to receive.
Yeah. And I just want to add to that, Angela, because that's awesome, is what does it look like when you're serving and not receiving? So if you're kind of like, oh, how do I do that? But what does it look like? It looks like burnout. It looks like you're
100%.
just draining because you're giving, and you feel like you have to keep giving in order to be worthy. And you don't. Serving is different from that. Serving is doing it out of love and passion to make a difference in the world. It's not just giving because you feel like you should.
I remember hearing Elena Van Zandt, it was a long time ago. She was on the Oprah show before it became, when it was still the old Oprah show, and she was being interviewed by Oprah, and she wrote books like In the Meantime and Yesterday I Cried, and she was talking on, and it was one of those incredible moments where I just turned on the television, and within like 30 seconds, I just heard her say, and literally this is truth, I just heard her say, you can't give from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm.
And so that law of reciprocity, the law of receiving, is the fact that we have not only the right, not only are we, and it's not so much an expectation, but in terms of embracing that energy, and it is a divine paradox. That's why it trips so many people up. Because on the one hand, we're saying not to have an expectation. On the other hand, open up and receive. So which one is it? Well, okay, I don't know that I always have the answers. And maybe that's the kind of thing is that we step into the paradox and we allow the paradox to teach us what it is that is actually truth.
I like
So,
that.
yeah.
Yes. But there's that paradox that Angela was talking about, right? It's that element. We are beings of experience. So I think we have to go through both to completely understand what it is and how to just be it. Just to be either in it or be who we are.
And we can't give from depletion.
No.
Then we become the self-sacrificing martyr because we're not, and that's not service.
Well, and checking in, like coming back to a lot of women, because we were told to give, to serve, to get up, to do for others, right? Right? You make this beautiful big dinner and you're the last one to eat. And yet you should be the first one, right? But that's not a good girl. Like good girl is, we got praised for it and we found, and that's how we started to feel our worth when that's not worthiness, right? Like self-worth and self-love. That's external circumstances that are feeding us into feeling like we're worthy enough. And yet we want to get to the point in our life experiences of saying, no, I am worthy because I am. I'm here.
And I can come first. And I can come first.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be coming first.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
allowed,
often,
sorry, Pam, I'm allowed to say
it's
no.
okay.
Mm.
And I often say, what is self-centered? What does centered mean?
Yeah.
Grounded, right?
Yeah.
At peace.
Yeah.
What happens is people put self in front of it and all of a sudden it's a bad thing. No, it's not. We want to be grounded. We want to be centered. You know, self-centered is not a negative thing in the way that people have been taught. It's that whole element of when we are grounded in who we are, when we take care of ourselves first, everything else we're able to give better, and everything else manages to work itself out. Because too many times we get into the control. We're trying to make everything okay for everybody else, which leads to control, right? Controlling of outcomes, not just people, right? And we're, again, the martyr you said earlier, Angela. It's true. We end up becoming a martyr. And it's not really until we step into our own and take ownership for ourselves and what we're responsible for and making ourselves happy. Boy, the world gets much more magical, because then you also start to hold other people accountable for their own stuff, not taking it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying though as well is that it brings about the vibration through which we interpret words. And if our vibration is a low level vibration, self-centered is actually, it's all about me. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. And it has that lower base energy attached to it. Whereas when we're vibrating at a higher frequency, that self-centeredness is actually anchoring into the higher self, not the lower nature self. And that's
right.
because it can be exactly the same word, but it has two completely different implications depending on where one's conscious.
Absolutely.
I love that. Mm.
Yeah, the perception, I think, comes from vibration, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Do
Well, this
think
conversation.
so
Yeah.
important. So important. And that's where that, looking at that in Dr. David Hawkins' Power versus Force, right? That
Beautiful energy.
scale of consciousness, and identifying, well, where am I? Where is my frequency most
We'll
of
be
the
thinking of
time?
you in your new space
And
that you've been
start to work
manifesting
on
for a
bringing
while.
that up. And you do, and it's at the whole world, your whole world changes. You begin to see things differently, hear things differently, feel things differently, the more you bring your frequency up. And it's funny because people go, oh, I listened to that, but I didn't hear that. Oh my gosh, I just realized this now. Or when an awareness comes into you, that's why. It's because your frequency is rising and
Well,
you
everybody's
are
attention.
you are hearing
Everybody
things
in the
at a
circle is
whole
offering some
new
amazing
level.
things. So check
I
out all the
love it.
details and all of our contact information.
And when you have
follow
someone
Angela and her
supporting
journey.
you
And
in your journey,
Janice just came
in
back from
that
an
way,
amazing one, and she's
it
bringing some
makes
really
it
beautiful stuff.
much
So I'm
more
just excited
powerful
for
as
all of us
well.
as we continue forward on this journey.
Right? So who you're surrounding yourself with from a frequency perspective makes a huge difference
With
as
that,
well. I mean, I've
I will
often
thank everyone
said
for
with my
joining us here
partner, I've
as
told
this
him
circle
this, if I
closes for
didn't
now,
have
the
the
light
support
remains.
that I've
Not
had
just here, but also
over the
within
last
you.
few years,
Let
now
these
again,
teachings
I'm
echo
looking
through
at it
your
from
being like
the
a lighthouse
frequency
calls over
way,
the sea,
right?
steady,
It's his
unwavering, and
frequency that
sovereign.
is matching
Share what
mine, that
touched your
is
soul,
supporting
please.
mine, that
We
is
appreciate
uplifting
you.
mine,
Subscribe if you feel
right? If
called.
I had
And
that when I was
remember,
younger,
you
and
are the
I would
light.
say this would be for
You are the
anybody,
way, and
had
the
it when they
circle
were
will always
younger,
be
my
here when
God,
you
where would we
return.
be in this world?
Right.
Right? What kind of a world would we be really living in? My magical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something that's coming up for me a lot recently is the power of words
Mhm.
and the intonation that we place upon words, and how I'm so much more mindful of the words that I use, not only the words that I'm using, but also the energy and the frequency of the words, just like we've spoken about self-centered lower nature versus self-centered higher nature. But it's coming through more and more and more in terms of just that awareness of being so much more careful and mindful of the manner in which and how I use words and the vibration and energy that sits behind them. It's just quite profound when we actually are able to step into that frequency. That it's almost like it's hidden in plain sight. So take a word like business. BUS dash R dash NES. There's an I in the middle of the business, of the word business, hidden in plain sight. We don't see it until we become consciously aware of the fact that these are how frequencies are layered in to something that's simple.
Well, and even busyness,
Mhm.
right? Means got to be busy, right? It's that frequency, right? And I've always, for years, the power of words, very, very important. Most definitely, most importantly with ourselves. Because if we're not applying it with ourselves first, it's harder for us to really apply it anywhere else. And we are, in our life, usually our own worst enemy.
Hmm.
Right? So it's being able to start to recognize what are the words that we're telling ourselves every day. One simple one, try. I'm going to try and do something. Well, think about it. And this is for the people watching. If you think about it, the people who've said try, do they ever really show up when you've asked them to do something? I'll try. Most of the time, it's no. It's a word used for people who cannot say no.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, I'm working on it. I sit people and ask them to say, okay, say this out loud. I am trying to do something. How does that feel? And they're like, yeah, not so good. Well, I'm working on it. How does that feel? Well, like it's forward moving, right? So it's really, again, those words can hold us back. Our own words with ourselves can hold us back, or it can help us to move forward. If
Yeah.
we're putting ourselves down, right, beating ourselves up, we're certainly not doing anything to lift ourselves in that moment. But that's what a
Yes.
lot of people, we've all been there. And everyone goes through it because we're beings of experience and it's learning from this, right? And so putting into practice, being very mindful of, am I uplifting myself or am I dragging myself down? How are my words doing that?
And when you said, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to build this business or whatever. There's a fear of failure in there. There's a
Yeah.
fear of people seeing, oh, it didn't work. Because if I say I am creating this and it doesn't work, then everyone's going to know, right? There's no there's no wiggle room there. It's like, oh, you failed. Well, no. So,
But again, those words, the
yeah,
frequencies of the words, right?
yeah,
And failure and success, all of these words that are polar opposites, they're on the same continuum. Which frequency do you want to be in?
It's so
If
interesting when you
one's a
talk.
lower vibration,
It's so
sorry,
interesting.
it's a continuum.
yeah.
Sorry. It's so interesting
Fine.
when we talk, and I'm hearing parents' voices in children's heads.
Mhm.
Give it a try. How many times have
Yeah.
we as parents to our own children, how many times have we heard this as children ourselves? Give it a try. Why don't you try harder? All of that kind of stuff that comes to us, that we internalize it. That, oh, I'm trying. Yeah. Well, okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it's all
Well,
on a continuum of experience, is my point. So get rid of the labels. What's the experiencing either way teaching you? What are you learning from it? When we let go of those judgments and those labels of good, bad, right, and wrong, and people laugh at me when I say there isn't good, bad, or right or wrong. It is what it is. What's your experience, right? And I embrace the experiences as opposed to judging them.
yeah. Or making meaning out
Embrace
of
them
them.
and own them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
You're reading my mind there, Janice.
Oh, I love it. I love circling up with you guys. Mm.
It's amazing.
Absolutely awesome. And I'm going to miss you guys for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I'm going to be running my first workshop in Los Angeles as well. So I'm really excited about that.
Yay, that's awesome.
That
Very-
is.
And the work that I'm doing there is the gift of the imposter. So I'm going to be working with the imposters, which I'm really excited about. So I'll keep you posted when I get back as to how exciting it's been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.
Blessings to
Thank
you.
you. Namaste, everybody.
See you on the
Namaste.
Lion's Gate.
You're on the Lion's Gate.